Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we go to Pocono in the Xfinity Series and in the Cup Series. We finished here in second last season in one of the races. We're hoping not to do that today, but in the Xfinity race we had Derek Kraus back into the car, and for the second straight weekend we would have to start in the back with this team. Last time we failed optical scanning station multiple times, and this time we just failed pre-race inspection. So unfortunate for this team, certainly not what we need to have happen to us. But Derek Kraus certainly had his work cut out for him in the car today, and he would slowly work his way up through the field. We weren't really expecting a great finish from him, considering starting in the back, and he would work his way up into that 30th position, but this was only by the halfway point, so he was not really working his way up like he needed to, and it was a pretty big struggle for him throughout the rest of this race to get up any further. And by the time it came to the final lap, he was running just in the 27th position as he came through the final few corners, turns 3 for the final time, and as he came out of turns 3 down the front straightaway, Derek Kraus would come through to finish in P27. So another disappointing finish for this team, but hopefully we can turn it around here within the coming episodes. But now it is time to set our sights on the Cup Series. Last season, like I said, we finished second here in one of the races. Hopefully we don't do that today, but it's certainly going to be a tough race to win. This is usually a track that I can run decent at, but we just have a really tough time holding on to that lead position. So hopefully we can do that in today's episode. Like I said, though, it's going to be tough, but we're going to see if we can do it. And as we came to qualifying in the Cup Series, we made it to the third and final session, coming through turns 3 out of the corner down towards the front straightaway. It felt like a pretty decent lap as I was coming to the line with 50.514. We would come across the line and not go any better, so I would call it a lap there, and we will start P8 with a 50.514. So let's see if we can work our way to the front here in Pocono.
We're coming to you live from Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania for today's running of the Pocono 400. Now, this tricky triangle is different than any other track these drivers will encounter all year. There are only 3 turns, each unique in design. Also, the tight turns and relatively low banking will require drivers to do a lot more shifting than the typical 2.5-mile speedway. So nailing the setup of the car is crucial. Which of these teams will unravel the mystery that is Pocono and make their way to victory lane? Well, the green flag is in the air. Let's go find out.
Alright, we are ready to go green here in Pocono. Kyle Busch starts on the pole with Brad Keselowski on the front row. Daniel Hemrick is well prepared for this race. The team's training is really paying off. Denny Hamlin sent to the back after failing technical inspections. So we're going to see if he can rally his way forwards here today in Pocono. The first of 2 races in Pocono now as we get ready to go green here in Pocono. Kyle Busch leads the way as the green flag is out, and we are underway alongside the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. and behind the 42 of Kyle Larson there in that Credit One Bank Chevy Camaro. Now as we make the long stretch down towards turns 1, Kyle Busch and Keselowski side by side, dead even as they go into 1, but Kyle Busch likely will get the edge as we come through turns 1. Now Kyle Busch clears the 2 of Brad Keselowski as we get into the side of our teammate Kevin Harvick a little bit, as I had a little bit of oversteer there through the center of the corner, so we got into him as we do have a hole behind us, and that allows me to get in behind Kevin Harvick and just in front of Jamie McMurray as we go through the tunnel turn. And as we come out of the tunnel turn, looking to the inside of the 42 of Larson, we make just a little bit of contact now, trying to make it 3 wide with our teammates of Harvick and Boyer as we go into turns 1. And as we come through turns 3, Boyer backs out of the situation. He falls back a bunch of positions as we come out of turn 3 a little bit sideways there just for a brief moment, but we pull ahead of our teammate Kevin Harvick and we move into that 6th position now as we came through to complete that first lap. So a pretty good opening lap now as we look to the inside of Martin Truex Jr. to the inside, but he stays clear as we go into turns 1, but we do get to his left side as we come into the corner now, getting a little bit sideways going into the corner, but we would clear the 19 of Truex and look to the back of the 20 of Eric Jones, give him a little bit of a shot to the bumper down the straightaway as we're trying to give him some momentum. And by the time we came to lap 6 of the first stage, the positions kind of switched up a little bit as we get hit in the right rear by the 18 of Kyle Busch. And sideways we went, but we would hang on to it. But we were ahead of Kyle Busch for a moment. He started on the pole, and he drifted back. We passed Eric Jones. We passed Chase Elliott, and we were riding in that 5th position at the midway point of the stage as the positions were kind of swapping around quite a bit now as we came through the tunnel turn just in front of Chase Elliott, the number 9. As we come out of the tunnel turn, though, a chance to pass the 18 as we look to his inside as we head down towards turns 3. And as we head down into the corner, still side by side with the 18 of Kyle Busch, now pulling ahead of him and looking to the inside of the 40 car of Jamie McMurray, who has had a great return to the NASCAR Cup Series. Now as we come down the front straightaway, though, side by side with McMurray as we cross the line to hit lap 7 with 5 to go on the stage, using the draft of Keselowski to help me stick alongside with the 40. He gets clear of me as we head down towards turns 1, and we're not able to look to McMurray's inside for the moment. But now as he checks up a bit, that allows me to look back to his inside, and this time we just about clear him as we make a little bit of contact, but we do clear him now as we look to the inside of the 2 of Brad Keselowski, now down the back straightaway as he comes down the track just a tiny bit to try and side draft me. But we go through the tunnel turn trying to clear that 2 of Keselowski, but we come out of there side by side as well. But we are just doing what we can to work our way forwards as we battle for that 2nd position as we go into turn 3 with Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott right behind me. And we do clear the 2 of Keselowski out of turns 3, and we would set sail towards the 22 of Joey Logano, and we would stretch up the gap between myself and the cars behind, but we were having a really tough time closing in on Joey Logano. We certainly have a fast car, but at this point in the race it just wasn't fast enough to run down the 22 as we cross the line to start the final lap of this first stage. Logano in command at the moment now as we head down towards turns 1 as Kyle Busch and other drivers battle behind me as we come through the center of the corner to come out of turns 1. Now still 1 second behind the 22 of Joey Logano, and obviously at this point I'm just thinking about bringing the car home in 2nd for this first stage and just trying to not make any mistakes in the final couple corners now as we come through turns 2. The tunnel turn now as we exit there. Not the best tunnel turn I've had so far, almost getting into the wall on the exit of the corner, but fortunately we did not take out the car or put the car into the wall now as we head down into turns 3 for the final time in stage 1. Kyle Busch behind me in 3rd, just in front of 4th place of Kyle Larson, but we come out of turn 3 down the front straightaway. Joey Logano's dominant season continues with a stage win here in the first stage as we come through to get P2 in stage 1. We have 2 Ganassi cars there in the top 5, and Ryan Blaney rounds out the top 10 in the stage results. So certainly a great start to this race for us, and hopefully we can continue it. We would come to pit road, take 2 cans of fuel, and take 4 tires, and we would come out in the 2nd position once again as we get ready to restart this race now in the 2nd position alongside the leader of Joey Logano now as the green flag is back out. We are underway once again to start the 2nd stage in Pocono now as we come alongside the 22 of Logano, getting some momentum, and that might allow me to go ahead. And as we head down towards turns 1, we do edge ahead of the 22 of Joey Logano. We have him clear for a moment as he tries to look to my inside going into turns 1, but we close the door on him and take over the lead here in Pocono now as we exit turn 1, trying to set sail on these guys as we just want to get away from them as quickly as possible now as we head down the straightaway, closing in on the tunnel turn. Logano has a bit of a run now as they get a little bit defensive going into the tunnel turn and making sure I keep that bottom line covered now as we exit the tunnel turn, still above the same gap between myself and the 22 of Joey Logano. The tunnel turn and turn 3 are certainly 2 strong points for me on this track. Turns 1 is probably my weakest spot of the track. That's usually where we don't really gain time. Unless I hit it perfectly, then I could gain time. But we come out of turn 3 down front straightaway to complete this first lap in the 2nd stage as Logano tries to hold off 3rd place Kyle Busch, who is hungry to take that 2nd spot from him. And Busch has to defend the 40 of McMurray as we go down into turns 1. Now starting to pull away from the cars behind as Logano continues to try and hold on to that 2nd position over Kyle Busch as we come down the straightaway on this 2nd lap, and we would just continue to drive away at this point. We weren't driving away, it wasn't really a breeze. Like, we were certainly driving away, but it just wasn't like the dominant performance. The AI was certainly still capable of running with myself as we just kind of got out in this fresh air, or in this clean air, and this has allowed me to really take take advantage of it now as we come through turns 3. Logano about 3 to 4 tenths behind as we came out of turns 3 down the front straightaway as we would come through to complete this second lap in the stage. And by the time we came to lap 3 out of turns 1, a little bit further ahead of the cars behind me now as we come down the straightaway, we would end up getting a caution. I couldn't find what the caution was for, but we would get one, and we would stay out as we did not need to pit, and the AI would all stay out as well as we get ready to restart this race. And we will be restarting beside the 22, Joey Logano, as the green flag returns, and we are back underway here in Pocono. 5 laps remain in the second stage, and this is a good opportunity for us to maybe get a stage win and get a playoff point. At this point, I was a little concerned. I know that we can definitely win this stage, but I know that we have to take 4 tires at the end of the second stage on the pit stop, and the AI are likely going to take no tires or 2 tires, and if I take no tires, I'm not going to be able to contend for the win. I know that for sure. If I take 2 tires, the car is going to be uncontrollably loose, and if I take 4 tires, then we're going to be sent to the bag, but we're going to have a chance to have a fast car. So certainly just kind of focusing on getting the stage win right now, because we're probably going to have to give up a bunch of positions at the end of the second stage as we head down into turn 3, still ahead of Joey Logano. Now as we come through the center of the corner, approaching the exit as we come down the front straightaway, once again pulling away from the cars behind, and by the time we came to the white flag, just about maybe 8 or 9 tenths ahead of the cars behind as we went down towards turns 1, as we just continued to drive away and set our sights on getting a stage victory here. It's been a handful of races since we've actually won a stage, and at this point it's just all about not making a silly mistake as we come down the straightaway, approaching the tunnel turn for the final time in this second stage. Now as we go into the tunnel turn, hitting it pretty well. Certainly could have been maybe just a little bit better, but we come out of the tunnel turn in good shape as we head down towards turns 3 for the final time in this second stage. Kyle Busch maybe looking to the inside of Joey Logano for a moment, but Logano makes sure that he stays clear of the 18 of Kyle Busch. As we come out of turns 3 down the front straightaway, we will win stage 2 over second place of Logano. So a great effort for our team here in this second stage, a second and a first in the first 2 stages. And here is where we were going to probably have to give up a bunch of positions as we would come to pit road. We would take 4 tires just to make sure we would at least have a car capable of doing something, and we would give up over 20 positions. We would give up 25 positions to be exact. Unfortunately, this was a call I needed to make if I wanted to have speed in this final stage, and that shows you kind of how the AI just aren't perfect in this game. They should have had to take tires. Instead, they took no tires, and this puts us in a position where we're now in 24th going down towards turns 1, as this final stage is only 13 laps now as we head into turns 1 and 2, and it's all about not making mistakes at this point, as I know we have a fast car, but all this traffic is going to make it very tough to work our way forwards now as we come down the back straightaway behind the 38 of David Reagan and the 21 of Paul Menard as we head down towards the tunnel turn side by side with the 8 of Hemrick, or the 3 of Austin Dillon. Now as we come through the tunnel turn, it is the 8 of Hemrick, as we're not having a great restart here in Pocono, so certainly going to cost us some time in the long run. This could be important. This restart is very important for us. And as we come through the center of the corner, clearing the 21 of Paul Menard as we exit turn 3 down the front straightaway, a big run on the cars in front, so we take it to the inside of the 38 of Reagan as we cross the line to complete the first lap in this final stage. Now as Logano leads the way going down towards turns 1, as obviously we have a lot of work to do. And going into turns 1, we would actually get really sideways there, holding onto the car, but we would go down to the apron. But fortunately, we would keep the car straight, but we would go down to that 20th position alongside the 6th of Newman. And this kind of start to the final stage is the exact kind of start I did not need. So I knew right here that we were certainly in trouble, and I was losing confidence pretty quickly that, or at least losing confidence in how I think I can win this race pretty quickly, as I know that we're coming to 11 laps to go and we're in 19th. So we're certainly in a lot of trouble. We would continue, obviously, to work our way forwards. We would get up to the 10th position with 7 laps to go on the back bumper of our teammate Clint Boyer in the number 14. So we were working our way forwards, but we only had 7 to go, and you can see the leaders all the way up there, almost exiting turns 1. At this point, as Boyer moves up the track, and that allows me to look to his inside as we would exit turns 1, clearing the 14 of Boyer, and we would move into that 9th position. And I would continue to just keep my head up and pushed forwards by the time we came to lap 35. 6 to go, closing in on the back of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, who runs in the 8th position, and the 2 of Keselowski, who was in 7th. We would pass Jimmy Johnson, and we would run down the 2 of Keselowski by the time we hit lap 36. As we come through turns 1, now is Kyle Busch at this point was leading this race as Keselowski misses the bottom as we exit turns 1, and we would come alongside him down the straightaway, and we would get ahead of the 2 of Keselowski and take over the 7th position on the 36th lap of this race. And by the time we came to 3 to go, still in 6th, and that was really when I was starting to lose hope. But we would look to the inside of Chase Elliott. There you see the 3 drivers up towards the front. We have Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Jamie McMurray in that top 3 battling, as Elliott's not going to give up on the fight as we hit 2 to go in this race. Obviously not looking like we're going to win at this point, but we still have a chance to get a very solid finish and a very good points performance here in Pocono as we head down into turns 1, and now clearing the 9 of Elliott as we close in on the back of Ryan Blaney. And as we come out of turn 1, closing in on the back of the 12 as we look to the inside of Blaney down the straightaway, trying to take that 4th position away from the number 12 driver as we head down towards the tunnel turn side by side with Ryan Blaney into the corner. And we will come out of the tunnel turn clearing the 12 of Blaney and setting our sights on the top 3 who are too far ahead. It feels like at this point as they are 9/10 ahead as we head down into turn 3, approaching the final lap this time by as we come through the center of the corner. Now exiting turn 3, Kyle Busch tries to hold off with Kyle Larson as we come through to start the final lap here in Pocono as we try to close in on one of these guys and maybe still get maybe a top 3 out of it. And there is a bit of an audio cutout here, but that doesn't really matter now as we go down into turns 1 for the final time. Kyle Busch still holding on to that lead position now as we exit the corner. One of the best corners I've had in turns 1 all race now as we close in on the back of the 40 of Jamie McMurray down the straightaway. And if we can just nail this tunnel turn, we could close in on the back of McMurray and take 3rd away now as we nail the tunnel turn as we exit it, closing in quickly on the back of McMurray as we head down towards turn 3 for the final time, looking to the inside of him. And we go into turns 3 and we hit the 42 and sideways Kyle Larson goes. But he hangs onto the car as we come out of turn 3, and Kyle Busch is going to come through to win in Pocono as we will come through to finish in the 2nd position after kind of dumping the 42 of Larson. Not intentional at all. I did not mean to do what I did to him, and it was just kind of me being desperate going into turn 3, trying to get whatever position I could before we came to the line. And unfortunate set of circumstances there at the end. A very frustrating race for me. We had a great car, probably a winning car. Probably the first time this season I can say we had guaranteed a car capable of winning this race. And unfortunately the pit strategy from the AI just doesn't always make sense, and it costed us in this final stage. Unfortunate, but we had to set our sights on the next one, and that's Michigan, a track that we've done 4 races at in the Cup Series, and I finished 2nd 3 times at Michigan. So going to Michigan in the next episode, I'm either going to go win that race or we're going to wreck trying to win, because I'm not going to finish 2nd again at Michigan, I can tell you that much now. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be incredibly appreciated. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch one of my videos, just like I say every episode. And in the next one, like I said, we will be going to Michigan, and I hope so much that we can pull off a victory, and I really want to do it for you guys. So I will see you guys. I really hope I can bring you guys home a victory in the next episode. And there you see the playoff points right there. But thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. I will see you guys in the next episode.